Kenny, I was going to ask you, when we talk about even basic repairs like fixing a broken fan, power cord, power supply, some component on a logic board that may have just burned out and needs to be replaced, those are pretty straightforward, don't involve access to sensitive data. How are those types of simple repairs being complicated by the manufacturers in your experience?
Absolutely. I took a tour recently of one of the business-to-business repair facilities here in Colorado, and it was really interesting from a hardware perspective. Again, as you all were mentioning, a lot of times they're trying to fix a fan or fix something on a motherboard. And as I understand it, there is some language communication that needs to happen between the device that you're fixing and the part that you're putting into it. And right now, increasingly, manufacturers are making it so that there's some sort of code or some sort of authorization that you need, even though the part totally works and even though it's designed for the thing you're putting it into. If you don't have that simple code, then the two parts are just not going to speak to each other, even though they would work really perfectly well together. And so it's that simple barrier. And so we heard from this repair company, a lot of times they'll take a perfectly good part, they'll plug it in. If it's not communicating, they'll have to try to find another part because they might not have that code if they're not the designated authorized repairer. And authorized really comes from the manufacturer. So it's the manufacturer's choice. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your best choice. And so it's hard to imagine a marketplace where you buy something and you're only allowed to go to the manufacturer. One of the places I think would really make people mad is if this was happening in the vehicle space. How many streets in America on a Sunday do you go down and people under the hoods fixing and repairing their vehicles? That's another market that has right to repair. But imagine if you bought a car and the only place you could take it to was the manufacturer that you bought it from. It's a similar thing. And sometimes all you need is a code. We had many farmers describing how they're literally on a tractor in the middle of nowhere and they just needed that code and they had to wait for the authorized person to come out with the code. So it does seem very frustrating when we did that tour with this repair facility and they just were highlighting like, everything's ready to go. We can get this business up and running within the next few minutes, but we just need that code. And sometimes manufacturers aren't giving it to them.